Welcome to TW Sports Talk. Finally, the NFL preseason is basically over, and now we move on to the regular season. Now, for the Philadelphia Eagles, I guess a couple housekeeping things. I guess the little cliche. Um, Looks like we found our new kicker,
Yes.
Kobe Parkey.
I was shocked. I was actually shocked we actually would cut Henry.
Yeah,
I'm kind of happy,
yeah,
but I was
another
shocked. I was shocked that was an actual battle.
yeah, yeah, another rookie kicker, but it was kind of, I guess the fate was sealed when he nailed a 53 and a 54 yarder in the preseason
And that was
game.
Henry can't even make ones from 30 out.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, he's missing chip shot field goals, and his confidence just looks shattered.
Yeah.
And
Well, I wish the guy in the best
so
of his future endeavors.
yeah,
I mean, kickers that's a position once you get cut, it's pretty tough to get it back.
yeah,
He really has to work hard to get a spot back, pretty much.
yeah,
That's probably the hardest spot to lose, but also to get back if
yeah,
you lost it.
yeah. So yeah, at least at least we got it. Seem like we got a decent kicker. He's got a decent leg, but yeah, I mean it's nice making these field goals right now in preseason when against third teamers when the weather conditions are nice and everything. See how he fares in worse weather down the road,
Mm-hmm.
but bottom line is at least we got an upgrade over Alex Henry, whose confidence just seemed gone and was just on a downward spiral the past few years, which we noticed last year and now this year in the preseason he just again missing chip shot field. So yeah, that was taken care of in that for what it's worth beat down the New York Jets in the final preseason.
Okay, the beatdown of the third and fourth string of the New York
yeah,
Jets.
For whatever that's worth.
All it proved is that our second string's better than your second string.
Yeah.
That's all I saw.
And that we solved.
Actually, to be honest, I didn't. All I did that day was watch college football because they actually started the regular season on that Thursday. So
Right,
I didn't even care. I made channels once in a while, but I didn't really care about that game anyway.
And of course, Michael Vick made his return to Philadelphia essentially in this preseason game. And
I forgot.
They brought him out for basically one play to hand the ball off to somebody. So that basically he'd get an ovation there. I mean I don't know. I guess
a positive one.
Yeah, I heard it was a positive, which I would think would be a positive one. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it was a short stint with the Eagles, but he had some memorable ones, and it was a lot of positive ones, not a whole lot of negative ones.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't. Now he kind of declined after the 2010 season. That was kind of just magical from his standpoint, but just the way he kind of
he's also getting pretty old, Tyler.
Well, yeah,
I think age is a factor.
He's 34, and he's that, and the decline of the Andy Reid era.
Yeah,
amongst other things. I mean, obviously that's gonna,
I mean, for me, honestly, to me, there's two moments that are gonna stay on in his career that are kind of legendary moments. The one is I think it was his rookie season with the Falcons. It was a quarterback sneak, and this is like when he was like just super fast to the point, but it's against the Vikings. And he actually ran through two Viking defenders, and they bumped into each other. And that was the game-winning touchdown in overtime, I believe. That was like his rookie year.
Yeah.
And to me, that just showed this guy was going to be an impact player, pretty much.
Yeah.
And for me, Philadelphia, his best moment was easily the Miracle in the Meadowlands, because that was easily
one
of the best quarterback performances I've seen of anybody
in the
under
last
pressure.
7 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, obviously Tom Brady's one against the Peyton Manning and the Broncos, I think is going to be more legendary
last year. Yeah.
Because of who it was
with the wind and the bat. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like I said, Brady's up here and Vic's down here somewhere. Yeah. But to me, that's Vic's. That's not just that's easily Vic's best Eagles moment, but it's also probably one of the best moments of his career. Because to me, it was him. Yeah. It was him doing what all his critics said he couldn't do: calm under pressure, calm in the pocket, made smart decisions.
And that game essentially, would go on to decide the
division. I believe. Yeah. Division, I believe that.
Now, there are a couple like clunkers that Eagles team had, but. But nevertheless, those beating the Giants twice is what they needed because the Giants went 10-6 as well that year.
It was actually a very good Giants team that year.
It was, and
Eli Manning was not playing bad. Yeah,
Tampa Bay was 10-6, and these teams were missing the wild card spot because there was just a big tie, and it came down.
Talk about night and day.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that year it was a good Giants team, and they missed they missed the playoffs because the Eagles division, the head-to-head wins over them, and yeah, I mean that year, the Eagles started out pretty mediocre. And yeah, I mean, but then mid-season,
but the season started off with a certain guy named Kevin Kolb. I thought that was it. This guy's the future, and
yeah,
he goes down against Green Bay, and Vic plays well, and all of a sudden the locker room's like, we feel comfortable with this guy, and once you get the support of the locker room, it's pretty tough to go back to the other quarterback.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then it was a win. Yeah, I mean,
ironically enough, same thing happened with Vic, how he got replaced.
Right,
gets injured.
Last year,
guy gets in, guy steps up, and guy gets the starting job.
It was pretty similar, and ironically, the Eagles would finish 10-6 again. They'd win the division, and they'd get knocked out by a more experienced and team in the wild card round. Although they wouldn't go on to win the Super Bowl like the Packers did that year.
Yes.
But then again, I mean, the NFC is stacked right now as it is. So.
Yes.
So yeah, bring up the NFC, and I guess we'll maybe do like kind of like a power rankings thing for both conferences here. Slash. To me,
I thought we were going to do like a playoff prediction thing, but
I mean, kind of that too, yeah, because it's it's interesting to see how the Eagles fit into this mix too as well. Power, because I guess playoff seeds / power rankings, I guess you could call it. Seattle Seahawks, pretty much a stone number one here.
Unless you're ESPN, then it's the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just talking NFC.
Okay. We just talking NFC. Okay, yeah. I forgot. Yeah.
But then again, if you factor in both, then maybe AFC, maybe you could go Denver Broncos.
The reason why people go Denver over Seattle, as far as overall goes,
their defense.
Well, the main reason is that history's on the Seattle side. There's never been a back-to-back champion
since the Patriots.
So if it's Denver and Seattle again, logic would say Seattle would not pull off what they did the last time. Grant, how the Cowboys destroyed the Buffalo Bills in 2 straight Super Bowls too. So
yeah, Bills went to 4 straight. Yeah, I mean, you always have that.
That's probably the most disappointing drought right there. You go to 4 straight, you don't walk away with anything.
Yeah, we talk.
And the closest one was the first one against the Giants, which was a missed field goal in the end.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about with the Eagles, all the NFC Championship games that
Was it 5 straight?
Well, I think 4 straight.
Oh, sorry, 4 straight.
And then the fourth one. And then the 4th time was the charm, not the 3rd time. And the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, but then
let's see, it was the Rams. It was at St. Louis, which I figured. I actually felt like we were going to lose that.
They weren't favored. Yeah, they weren't favored against the Rams, so that wasn't
because it was at St. Louis, and
that one didn't sting.
Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holden. It wasn't Kurt Warner under snap. I think it was Mark Bolger, who turned out to be a pretty mediocre quarterback. But you had that talent around you. You're not going to lose games in that. I mean, it was kind of. I think we only lost by 3 in that game, but. No, it was at St. Louis we lost.
They weren't favored. The point is, they weren't favored to win that.
But
but then the ones after.
But then the following year, what was it? Tampa Bay. Everybody thought that was a give me.
Right.
Every Eagles fan, because at that point Tampa Bay had like that whole they couldn't win in cold weather drought essentially.
And the Eagles had beat them earlier in the season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But nope. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
That Bucs defense just destroyed that Eagles offense. That
time cheers.
That's all I remember. A lot of interceptions. And then Carolina, which just shocked the hell out of me.
That was another,
because they had Jake Delhomme outplay Donovan McNabb of all people. I mean, there were some young talent on the Panthers team, and he had John Fox.
Yeah.
Go to his first Super Bowl, might I?
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, it was the Carolina Panthers for crying out loud.
I'm embarrassed.
I mean, we're not talking about this. And then finally, the winning charm was, ironically enough, Michael Vick and the Falcons.
Yeah. And that year, I mean, the Eagles.
It was the first year in Lincoln Financial Field, I believe, too. Because the Panthers was the final year at Veterans Stadium, if I remember right.
That was the, of course, that was when T.O. was in the mix, of course.
He was out. He was out for a good portion of the second half, though.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the season goes, I mean, for all intensive purposes, the Eagles could have been 15-1, but the last
somebody
they had the conference in the bag with 2 weeks to spare, and
we own the NFC that year.
The NFC was really weak.
I remember, I forget who was in ESPN said she worded it as, okay, it's either going to be Philadelphia or the entire NFC at this point.
Right, yeah.
Point. And the guy said, it has to be the Eagles. There's no way this team can blow it this year.
Yeah.
But then he also said, it is Philadelphia, though.
Yeah.
They got a history of blowing it even when it's a give me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we beat Atlanta, and Ivan left Michael Vick, and we finally, and to me, that was probably the happiest I ever felt as an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
Happiest until you get heartbroken in the Super Bowl. Then
I
kind of forgot I got there's still one more game yet.
Yeah.
Getting there is great, but you got to win. That's the win one final.
Yeah. And I mean, once they lost that Super Bowl, you figure next year, like, oh, they'll be back next year.
Had to wait a while.
And and it would not go that way, unfortunately. And,
Time yours.
yeah. So. Yeah, and the whole T.O. song.
Yeah, T.O. was out.
Lifting in his driveway doing sit-ups, and
that whole Terrell Owens song.
It's really
Yeah.
Which is why when I heard he signed of Dallas, I'm just like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Now, granted, Dallas did go 13-3 that year.
Still couldn't get the job done though. Man.
Yeah, but they get one and done, I think, in the playoffs. So.
Watch the Giants.
Yeah, and then
in the closing seconds, no less.
You had
if you guys do that, man, it's
and then you
unfair.
had that with Tony Romo and everything, and I mean,
wait, was that the Terrell Owens?
I think
that's my teammate.
Yeah,
that's my teammate.
The T.O.
Classic teammate.
Crying. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I can't believe you still have that.
Oh yeah, that's a keeper.
That is a keeper.
You never know when you bring up T.O. in the middle of a radio show and you bring, that's Hey, he still wants to play. He still wants to play in the NFL. I mean, he's like,
so is Chad Johnson too. But
he's like 40 now, but nobody wants to pick him up. So I mean,
hey,
bring that up.
All I know is this. He had talent, but his attitude is what killed his career.
Yeah,
easily. He killed locker rooms so fast.
Yeah, and I mean, the last chance
you can easily say he killed Donovan McNabb's career too.
Yeah. I think a couple of years ago too, like he was signed by the Seahawks, but he was dropping balls in preseason, and now
but look, it's in practice, non-contact practice.
Or yeah, practice, yeah. And
so we're talking about why would passes most.
But then look, but they go to the playoffs, and then the next year they win a Super Bowl, so it doesn't look like it really, it's not really hurting the Seahawks.
He wants to get back. He's got to do what Chad Johnson did and get to play up in the CFL.
Yeah. So
hopefully dominate up there, and maybe then you might get a team that may be interested in you again. But once again, two examples of a lot of talent, but those attitudes, those egos, man.
Yeah, it's important.
Which is why when Cincinnati decided to sign T.O. and Johnson to the same roster, I'm like, oh my god, talk about the ego trip there.
Yeah. So
I knew as soon as that happened, that was it. Carson Palmer's out.
Yeah.
There's no way he's taking that shit for one more year.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so let's go to the power rankings.
So I mean, as far as NFC goes, I mean, Seattle. Obviously.
It's theirs to lose.
Now the second seed, the second seed, in which I'll wrap that in the power rankings because essentially, I mean, that's you have an advantage if you're the second seed. I've been looking at the Packers. They appear to have an easy schedule this year.
I'd say pretty.
But I think the Saints were gonna, I think they were gonna be a 2 seed. So I'm not sure.
I think the South's more competitive. Going to be more competitive.
It is, yeah. That's the thing, though. Like the South.
To me, the only reason why the Packers it was close last just because Rodgers went down.
Right. Yeah.
They
should have won. They could have won 11 or 12.
Yeah,
games.
they could have if Rodgers did go down.
And I think they improved their. I mean, they improved their defense a little bit. They got Julius.
So Rodgers stays healthy the whole year. I can't see how the Packers lose it.
Yeah. So
that Bears D is just not. This does look good.
I mean, Eddie Lacy's coming along.
I mean, yeah.
So so right now I'm thinking Packers might be the second seed. They might win 12 games.
Yeah, I can see that.
Whereas Seattle, I think they're going to win 13 games.
I'll go Green Bay too. I think they should beat the Vikings. In fact, I think they should go 6-0 in the conference in the division.
Yeah, I mean,
there's really no excuse for them to lose to the Lions, the Vikings, and the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears could maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they could maybe steal one, but
we keep hearing this is an approved Packers defense, but even then, it's still a Sean Jeffries and Brendan Marshall.
Yeah.
Good look if
They
any
might have
defense stopping
they might have,
those two weapons.
I mean, they might have a better pass rush now, which can, but
yeah, Peppers.
so we'll see. Yeah,
and like I said, Jared Allen might make a small difference for the Bears, but but to me, he's getting up there with his age too.
Yeah. I mean, Peppers is too. But,
yeah,
but I mean, it's probably better what they had anyways. So,
Mm.
so yeah, I mean, and then I would have Saints 3.
Agreed.
By 11 or 12
do you think the
games
Falcons
for
could
them.
be a contender with them? Maybe.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be on the fringe of a wild card team if they,
They can stay healthy.
It'll be
The injury bug really hurt this team last year.
right. Yeah, Matt Ryan.
Can Matt Ryan
might have a bounce.
Can Matty Ice come back?
He could have. Yeah, I mean, he might have a bounce back year. So yeah, we'll have Julio Jones back. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big injury last year, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
So.
But then, then 4, go to the Philadelphia Eagles there, winning the division, being the 4th seed this time. Of course, last year they were the 3rd seed. But a lot of that had to do with, again, the Packers just barely making it because they had that whole Aaron Rodgers saga.
Here's the thing of the East, Tyler. History's not on Philadelphia's side.
Well, history. Yeah, I mean, the history's not on their side. But
and I still don't know which Eagles team's going to show up in that. Like I said, Jacksonville to me is going to tell a lot of stories of this team here, and definitely the Colts game is going to tell a lot. Is compared to at least decent teams, how good this team can be against decent teams. But at the same time, I haven't a ton of time trying to find anybody in the East at this point who can beat these guys. The Giants are gonna have trouble scoring this year. As soon as
no offensive line. They're gonna turn Eli Manning.
I mean, granted, this is almost how it always is with Tom Coughlin. Oh, he's on chopping block this year. All of a sudden, Eli Manning plays football well. All of a sudden, this offense is gelling, and the defense is playing well. All of a sudden, the Giants win the division. Next, they're in the Super Bowl. They win a Super Bowl.
It's one of those things.
All of a sudden, Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer again. He was a mediocre Hall of Famer in like a year.
Yeah.
It's just the weirdest thing there.
It's one of those things.
But it's just the Giants. How much is this offense going to score? Can the defense really stop a lot of offenses this year?
Stop the bleeding.
The Cowboys' defense is just pathetic at this point.
Right? Yeah.
It's just laughable. I feel sorry for Dallas fans at this stage in the game here. There's going to be so many fans that are going to be from Dallas that are just going to be like vomiting at at all the legendary defensive players that played for Dallas and looking at this defense and how disgusting it's going to be for them essentially. Like, how dare you call yourself a Dallas Cowboy to this stage in the game essentially? Not to mention, I don't know. I just don't know that the Dallas' offense can keep up with their defense really.
Yeah.
Des Bryant is going to be a huge impact player. He's going to have a lot of catches, a lot of yards.
Yeah.
Romo's probably have a lot of yards too. The question is that going to produce a lot of wins?
He always has a lot of yards.
No, I mean Dallas could score 31, but then Dallas can give up 45 points easily, depending on who they're facing.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle for them.
To me, it's the same problem that I thought the Eagles had last year too, which was this offense might score, but can this defense stop anybody?
Yeah.
Too, and same problem this year too. This defense to me has not gotten any better. It's the same defense last year essentially.
Personnel, yeah.
I mean, but I guess we're going consistency. I think they're more consistent, the Eagles are, than the Cowboys are. But then they got to the Redskins, which I think has the best defense in the division by default. As far as pass rushers, secondary, veterans on the team. I mean, but at the same time, it's all up to RG3 really where this franchise is going.
Yeah.
If he has his rookie year, and I mean this, he plays like he did his rookie year, as in doesn't turn the ball over that much, stays in the pocket, maybe makes a few high impact plays. Washington wins the division.
Yeah, well, that's then again, he's going to get banged. I mean, the problem is he'll probably get banged up.
I'm just saying, which RG3 shows up, he's going to determine, I think, who's going to win this division. If it's rookie RG3, I think Washington wins it. I think Washington wins the division over Philadelphia. That's my honest opinion right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
If it's sophomore year RG3, the Eagles win it. And they should win it handily. It should even come down to the final game like it did last year.
Yeah.
They should have this thing clinched maybe in the final 3 weeks. That's how bad these other 3 teams could be playing in the division, I think, compared to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm going to go by Philadelphia by default, essentially.
Yeah.
This is not a Super Bowl caliber team. Any Eagle fan that thinks that this team's going to go to the Super Bowl, and don't get me wrong, I might be eating my own words, maybe because there's always that possibility of that happening. Because really, if any of the 6 teams that make the playoffs have a shot at making the Super Bowl. Any 6 do. Some have better odds than others, but everybody has a shot. But, I mean, so I will go Philadelphia. I will say they win the division. But to me, I would not ignore Washington.
Yeah.
They got playmakers this year, Tyler, both on offense and on defense. So.
Yeah, they do, but, then again, I mean, if RG3 gets hurt, I don't know, which might happen in the first... I mean, they have week 1. They have J.J. Watt and the Houston Texans defense throwing.
Yeah, but so, that Houston offense though.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I'm just saying. I mean, they're gonna. They're gonna be playing some some of the best defensive. I mean, the NFC West they got to play. So I mean.
Maybe it's a bit bad. When you have Joe Theismann saying that he thinks Kirk Cousins should be starting over RG3, it's not a good sign for that franchise right now. But so all eyes be on RG3 when he's in Houston.
Yeah.
Like I said, if he plays well, this is clearly, I think, the better team as far as talent goes on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
In the division. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Better receiving core. Alfred Morris. You can't
better
tell
receivers.
me. You can't tell me the guy's not an elite running back.
Yeah.
Alfred Morris. The guy's, and to me, he's bigger than McCoy too. There, so he can just run over defenders like they're nothing.
Well,
like I said. Carrington, you got these pass rushes on defense. We don't really have that kind of a pass rush on defense.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Washington, some of the players they got, they're a little up there in age. I don't know.
What, Ryan Clark?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Are we talking about
in the
Merriman, and Ryan Clark?
That, and I mean, I'll wait and see how they fare in the in the first few regular season games too. I mean. They had the Brown. I mean, I don't know who they had.
We're gonna know. We're gonna know soon how good Washington is because we face them week 3. So
week 3.
Philadelphia better be ready for Washington week 3. I said I had that as a loss. I still do because I still think Jackson's gonna be motivated in that game.
Well, I think the Eagles will be because I think they'll be coming off a loss at Indianapolis, and so I mean you can look at it that way. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, as far as the power rankings go, I think we both have them at 4.
Yeah.
And then the wild cards
by default.
Yeah. 5 and 6. The wild card spots.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've had San Francisco at 5, and there's been a lot of between injuries and suspensions.
Not to mention the offensive inconsistency during the preseason.
Yeah,
I mean, Colin Kaepernick has just been bad during the preseason. I don't know how else you could say it. Bad.
Yeah. I still think down the stretch they're going to find a way to get a wild card spot. Now, whether it's 5th or 6th, I don't know. I mean, towards the end of the season, they'll have most of their defense back.
Mm-hmm.
Alden Smith, I mean, they'll miss him the first 9 games. And speaking of which, Roger Goodell, how about the stiffening up on the domestic?
Well, it's about damn time.
Yeah, it is. Now it's a 6-game suspension, and then the second offense, lifetime ban.
That was just so embarrassing for the league, especially his response there too, to the 2-game Ray Rice suspension. Well, I think 2 games is pretty. That's no. This is more like it. This is how it should be. 6 games and then banned for life. That's right, life. You're done. You don't associate with the NFL anymore. You're done. Your career's over.
Yeah.
Good luck in all your future endeavors, essentially.
Yeah. So yeah, that 6 for me. Again, I probably go with Chicago right now, and I think Atlanta's going to be right there with them. Maybe it's 7. They're going to be a fringe team. I mean, Carolina might win 9 games. They might be in the mix. Obviously,
that I think
Arizona would be there. Yeah. So a lot of fringe teams.
I mean, for me, Carolina, the question is going to be. You lost Steve Smith. How big is that going to be? But then, Jason Avant's going to be a pretty big pickup, I think, for them, too. And Benjamin's been playing very well, the rookie wide receiver. So, if Newton plays well, like he did last year, this way no season. It's the same defense they got from last year. That was pretty good.
Top 3, Ford defense, I think.
Once again, I'd circle that. If I'm the Eagles, circle the Carolina game because that's not going to be a walk in the park game right there.
Yeah.
That defense can easily destroy our offensive line.
So
Foles is going to be under a lot of pressure in that game.
And again, I mean that division's going to be competitive. I think again,
the Bucks, even the Bucks could have thrown the Bucks in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Bucks will be a playoff team, but they're not. I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were last year, and they got Lovie Smith now as a coach.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I think Atlanta's going to have somewhat of a bounce back year. I don't think they're going to be 13-3 like they were the year before, but
they also made some pretty big pickups on defense, which was kind of their weakness last year.
Yeah. So the running game, I don't know. It's not as what it used to be, but they got Julio Jones back, so.
Which, like I said, to me, that was their big loss. Once they lost Julio Jones, that was it for Atlanta.
And that kind of hurt my fantasy team. I remember last year as well.
I don't know. You're complaining about
even though I had Calvin Johnson still.
Yeah, Megatron. Yeah. You had Julio Jones and Megatron as your receivers. What are you complaining about?
But yeah, I mean, you lose one of those guys. I mean, that hurts to some extent.
But most guys don't have both of those guys anyway. So what are you worried about?
So, I think Atlanta will be right there. I mean, there could be a 10-6 team or two that doesn't make the playoffs just because there's a lot of competition there. Now
for me,
beyond that,
for me,
for you,
I'm gonna go Arizona for 5.
5.
To me, this is a team that probably should have made the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
but because of how the current rules are set up, they didn't.
Yeah.
To me, this is a team that to me has been playing like scary good right now. I mean, to me, it comes down to Carson Palmer in the end.
Yeah.
Who's going to show up, Carson Palmer? Yeah. I mean, but once again, Larry Fitzgerald, this receiving core,
Fitzgerald,
this defense.
Yeah, Fitzgerald's. Can he still play at the same level? Their defense, yes.
I don't know. Ty had pretty good stats last year. I mean,
I mean, he's still playing at a good level. But again, I mean, you never know. They could take a step.
But no, I'm going to Arizona. I think this defense, and I think Palmer does show up at least to give him a 5th seed.
Yeah.
6, I'm probably gonna go the Bears over the Falcons at this point.
Yeah, which is kind of like,
And I don't have San Francisco making the playoffs.
Bears, I mean the Bears. I mean obviously they have a loaded wide, with playmakers.
Not to mention this is
and they were
this is Jay Cutler's moment to start proving that
it's a make or break year for him. Because
he just signed an extension with the team, so he better start proving his worth for this franchise essentially.
Yeah, I mean these wild card spots. I mean, they could very well come down to head-to-head games and this and that. So
to me, for the Niners, just way too much distractions. It's going to just affect them.
They do have a lot of distractions. I think they'll take a step back, but I think they'll at the end of the season they'll find a way to get a wild card spot.
Here's the thing, there, the Jim Harbaugh, his whole debate, the argument, he might not be the head coach come next year if they don't make the playoffs. If you think about it. Because it sounds like it's between the franchise and him. Bad speaking terms right now, it sounds like, as far as trying to get a new coaching deal together.
Yeah.
So he could be out.
Yeah.
Which would be fun. Which I'm curious to see who's going to pick him up, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could go from bad to worse instantly like that, Tyler. Because really, because they got a new head coach in, and he got to, he's got to get his players in, and he might not like certain players that Jim liked. And, I mean, keep on. This is also an old team too. You got Vernon Davis and Frank Gore still playing, and so those guys are not getting any younger.
Yeah.
I mean, they can still.
Bolden. I mean, Bolden. I mean, he's kind of like Tony Gonzalez in a way. He's kind of ageless, play, but
still, he's a big guy. I think that helps him out too.
Still getting, well, I mean, nevertheless,
and like I said, to me, it comes down to can Colin Kaepernick finally establish himself as a passer, and I don't think he does this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can, but I don't know. I mean, it's going to be harder for them. And nevertheless, I mean, even if they do get the 5th seed, I have the Eagles beating them at home in that first playoff game.
But don't you have us losing to them in the regular season too?
At San Francisco.
Or have you changed the flip because of what the of the Niners?
I know some people like Mike Greenberg has gone on to say in the past week that he thinks they're the second best team in the whole conference. Yeah, and
I
I mean, a lot of
I
people
know that
hype.
ESPN has him as the 7th team on their power ranking total
Yeah,
as far as NFC AFC's goes. I think that's pretty damn high for
yeah,
this team here.
yeah,
But at the same time, I was like, this team's just giving it to them too.
yeah,
Because like I said, some of these teams they're just one player play away from just falling apart essentially.
yeah,
And there's some people at the Eagles saying, yeah, this defense we're definitely one player away from falling apart.
yeah,
And definitely on offense, as far as wide receivers, we're one player away from falling apart. But we got a more definite running back this year, kind of. And
yeah.
Sanchez has been playing very well. So if Foles does go down for an injury, he's really Sanchez has been playing with the offense. Really hasn't really affected the team really.
Yeah.
So I can see why there's some experts saying the Eagles might have some depth in certain areas than some other teams do. Because like I said, Packers lose Rodgers, they're pretty much done. Done. They might make it.
I mean,
they barely did without him.
And if he hadn't played in that last game,
against Jay Cutler, and even then they barely made it.
They almost. I mean,
it was a blown defensive play by the Bears.
I mean, their season looked over, and then suddenly, what did they bring in Matt Flynn? I think because because Seneca Wallace we took out in that game. They had Scott Tolzien,
who just was not ready for prime time.
Yeah, and then Matt Flynn was actually giving them some wins. I think they mixed in a tie in there as well.
They all I know about Matt Flynn is that he had an amazing comeback against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that was
which just heartbroken Cowboy Nation everywhere.
Yeah,
because really,
we just laughed at.
Well, I wasn't really laughing there,
even though it didn't.
Because early that day, the Vikings kicked the Eagles' ass, and all of a sudden the Cowboys win, and they're in pretty good shape to win the division title then.
But because
at halftime, I'm just looking at it like,
that just that made me laugh. Just the fact that the Eagles would lay a clunker like that, and then the Cowboys would blow a game like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, that's basically the power, and below that. I mean, I kind of just have everybody else.
What about the Rams too? Because it's the West, and this isn't really a bad team. I mean, I was saying Bradford's out.
Bradford's out.
I don't know if
I mean, they still might be 8-8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I had them 9-7, but now I think they're a little more down now that
I mean, it's gonna be a blood. Once again, that's why I think the Niners, these injuries really hurt them in the division. It's going to be a bloodbath period.
Division games.
So you lose all these key guys in your defense. I don't know how you can survive now. You get Seattle, and San Francisco, and Arizona, and then plus all your brutal non-conference games that you throw in there too. Yeah. So it's just, I think it's way too much of a distraction. And as much depth as this team has, we're talking about some pretty big losses on key positions.
Yeah, I mean, it helps to have a good coaching staff, but... we'll see it. I mean, it'll be
so quick rundown for playoff teams. You got Seattle. We have Seattle, Green Bay, and New Orleans, and then Philadelphia. And then I
got the 49ers
and the Bears, and I got the Cardinals and the Bears.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just do a quick NFC playoff, since we got our season now.
I hinted earlier that Eagles this time they beat San Francisco at home.
So Foles gets his first playoff win, is what you're saying?
Yes. And the other game would be the Saints, who I would think would beat the Bears at home as well. Well, yeah, and then they would. I guess since our playoff teams are different, I guess I ought to keep going. Unless you have anybody else different moving on, I don't know.
I probably would have Arizona beating us.
And in the regular season.
I did have. Even though we beat them last year, I do have Arizona beating us in the regular season.
In the regular season, yeah, I have that.
I mean, I was going to say, well, yeah, wait, that's at Arizona. This is at Philly.
And the revenge factor.
I don't buy into the whole East Coast West Coast deal. I just don't.
Well, I mean,
there's certain. Yeah, I get it, jet lag, but there are certain teams that can go east to west, and it doesn't matter.
Well, if you're really talented,
San Diego kind of proved that last year. I think kind of because I remember everybody saying, "Oh, it's a give me." The Eagles they destroyed Washington the following week, and they're going to destroy San Diego. This team's not ready this year. It's a rebuilding year, and look, West Coast to East Coast, and all of a sudden, Phil Rivers throwing darts for our defense the whole entire game.
Not just that though. I mean, climate can play a role. I mean, Arizona. their climate is different than.
So what? So what? You calling
you
for
got-
a blizzard to Philadelphia come from the division playoff?
Well,
They're
not a
they're ready for
blizzard,
snow.
but cold, but I mean, the Saints won that night.
I
That was
don't
like
see this team getting a first playoff win. Not based on who I'm.
if it's there.
If it would have been San Francisco, yeah, I think we would have beaten them. Not because of West East, but because once again that depth of San Francisco.
Yeah.
I think.
I think whoever they play now, I think in that first playoff game, I think they'll beat. I think they can be a better team,
Okay, but I'm still sticking with
And,
Arizona.
plus, barring revenge,
I know. There's gonna
factor,
be some Eagle fans saying traitor and so on. This is a very underrated Cardinals team here, but facing an Eagles team once again. Probably going to win a division by default because there's nobody else that's going to, maybe except for Washington, that has the talent level right now that can compete with this team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like I said, this Eagles team was in the NFC West. It would be in dead last in that division.
Yeah, well,
it
could be better. I mean, they could be better than the Rams right now if they were in that.
Well, San Francisco would be the team I'd probably be throwing out right now. So I think probably dead last in the division. But even then, I said that St. Louis game is gonna be interesting too. I think all the NFC West games are gonna be interesting. How well this team plays against the West, because to me, it's gonna show you how good this Eagles team really is, and more importantly, how much strength does the West have compared to the East? Because if Seattle blows us out, San Francisco blows us out, and St. Louis even blows us out, the West is clearly far superior to the East. Then it's not even close. Then which should start making Eagle fans say, "Well, clearly you're not ready for a Super Bowl at this moment."
Yeah.
But no, anyway, Arizona, and I do have the Saints win, especially as it's in New Orleans of all things. They're almost undefeated in that dome.
Well, yeah.
So the Saints,
that's obviously a big factor.
So Drew Brees just shreds the Bears defense. Maybe Color throws a few passes, but no, the Saints beat the Bears, and the Cardinals beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
So you would then have Seahawks, Eagles at Seahawks, and
losing to the Seahawks, and then the Saints at the Packers. Out of the Packers moving on, and it's kind of one dimensional, but that's kind of the West, and then the Packers losing at Seattle.
Okay, I'm gonna go Seattle beating Arizona. It's gonna be a close game though, because those two I think are gonna be very competitive in that division this year.
Arizona did beat them last year,
even at Seattle too. Nonetheless, the unbeatable Seattle. So I think Seattle beats Arizona, and I think that I'm not going to go Saints over Packers. I think Rob Ryan's defense for the Saints might put a little more pressure on Rodgers than the Packers defense put on Drew Brees. Even if it's at Lambeau, even if it's during a blizzard and it's below so degrees, I'm not buying the cold weather the Saints do anymore. I think the Saints proved that last year against the Eagles.
Yeah.
I know people are going to say it wasn't quite as cold as people thought it was going to be, but still, it was a cold weather game. Everybody thought Saints don't have a chance. It's cold weather.
Yeah, it was still 20 degrees.
So I'm going to go. So I think the Saints actually beat the Packers in Lambeau, and then I'm going to go Seahawks over Saints because I just don't think.
Yeah.
I just don't. As good as Rob Ryan's defense for the Saints might be, you're wrong. When they faced the Seahawks last year in the division playoffs, it was a very competitive game.
Yeah.
Very defensive-minded game too. So both defenses are very elite.
Yeah.
But I think this is just Seattle's to lose. Seattle's here and everybody else is kind of somewhere in the middle.
I mean one of the greatest defenses in league history. I mean they win another one this year and they go number one in every defensive category or whatever.
Yeah.
Again,
pretty hard to not put out there as all-time great defense. Then.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Let's put the Bears in there. They 85 Bears team, but
yeah. But I mean, look what they did. Look what they did to Peyton Manning. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying there.
What was statistically in the greatest offense? I think they said in regular. When you compile those stats.
Yes, pretty much.
Peyton Manning shattering the touchdown pass record, and So
speaking of 7 against the Ravens.
Right, yeah. So then speaking of Peyton Manning and the Broncos.
Yeah.
We guess we move over to the AFC. With power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I gotta go with the Broncos as the first seed.
Yeah.
At least in the in the playoffs. And the Patriots, I gotta go too.
it's theirs to lose in the East.
Looks
once
like
again.
yeah.
Should go 6-0. It should go 6-0.
See if Gronkowski can stay healthy. Maybe
Yeah, see if Gronk can stay healthy.
Yeah, and
if not, Brady did fine kind of without him last year. So
yeah,
you got Amendola and Edelman on the outside. So those guys
they upgraded the defense a little bit. So
it's Revis Island now.
Yeah,
in New England,
Revis Island. So yeah, I mean, both the Broncos and the Patriots, seeming to make
it's
upgrades.
Not to mention the Patriots. I think have kind of an easy schedule this year to a degree, just because you're from the division and kind of the non-conference.
Right. Yeah.
So you can make an argument that they have a shot at maybe taking the 1 seed too, depending on
because they do have an easier division.
Yeah.
Not saying that the Broncos can't
win 6, but San Diego's going to put pressure on them again.
Likely, I think,
Kansas City definitely can probably, even though they could easily go backwards easily, that Chiefs team, and Oakland's probably going to be the number 1 pick come next year. I think. I don't think it's going to be Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's going to get more wins than Oakland this year. I think Oakland's, especially with starting a rookie quarterback, I just don't see
7-6 wins maybe.
Yeah, maybe depending on how well they do in the division. I think the division's key for them, but I think Oakland's going to get the 1 seed come the draft next year. I'd be shocked if this team does so well. The Oakland Raiders do. Keep in mind, it might be the last year in Oakland. This 3 franchises might be switching come next year. Buffalo might be going to Toronto. The Rams might be going from St. Louis to Los Angeles. And Oakland might be, apparently it's down to Los Angeles, but if the Rams are going to be that team, then San Antonio, Texas might be the home of the Raiders next year. And apparently Raiders are moving, because apparently Al Davis's boy, who's the new owner of the Raiders, did not renew their lease for the stadium for Oakland this year. And the Athletics have already done that for the next 5 years now. So Oakland still has the age, which at this point is not really a bad loss.
Yeah.
They're kind of, possible World Series and the worst NFL team right now. So, but man, the San Antonio Raiders.
Yeah.
So Texas gets another football team, which is got to be pissing Jerry Jones off now at this point.
Yeah. So.
But no, the fact that San Antonio, it's not just Spur country now; it might be Raider nation then.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, going on.
So third
Broncos,
seed,
Patriots.
Third seed.
That phone.
Yeah, seems to have the tendency to do that. Yeah. So, third seed, I would go with the Colts. Given that
weak division.
Yeah, wait for this phone. Yeah. And I mean last year I think they were third seed. I think last year, if I'm not mistaken. Well, no, they were probably fourth
because they were fourth. They faced the Chiefs. Third seed.
But I think
third seed was the Bengals.
Yeah. But I think I think obviously Andrew Luck continues to mature maybe in this league, and
I mean it's gonna be interesting. I believe they got Reggie Wayne back by this year, including that.
Yeah,
Hakeem Nicks they picked up in the free agency, so will his receiving core be better? Because last year, really, when Reggie Wayne went down, this offense really was not as dominant as it was early on. Defense question marks. I mean, the Colts really don't have this solid defense.
They're going to be missing, was it Robert Mathis early in the year, so. But, I think they'll pull it out and get the third seed, which then, leads over to the NFC North, or the AFC North, with the Ravens, I think, getting the fourth seed at maybe 10 wins.
Wow. Fun. The Bengals out.
Well, I think the Bengals might win 10. I think those two, and then maybe the Steelers might win 8 or 9.
That's the thing. North and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and then the Browns. I don't know.
Just still trying to figure out whether they want Johnny Manziel or not right now.
Yeah. But I was thinking this. The Steelers could possibly make maybe a resurgence in division title, but I don't think. Especially after that game against the Eagles, I don't think they're.
I'm going to give them a pass just because of that whole marijuana deal with the 2 running backs. You can't tell me that doesn't distract the locker room in any way. Well, and the fact that they might get suspended. I mean, I'm with you, Tyler, there, but I'm willing to give the Steelers a pass against the Eagles because I don't think everyone was in the right frame of mind in that game, especially Mike Tomlin of all people too. Because
I don't know, but
I mean, I get it.
I get it. Still, I mean, they're up there in age. A lot of players and.
I still think Big Ben. I mean, really, Big Ben hasn't really had bad seasons. This team, he just hasn't had a whole lot of help around him once these veterans have been retiring and getting traded or cut and so on. Just they have really done a great job filling in younger guys. I think.
Yeah.
So
right.
I mean, but like you said, you look at the stats. Ben Roethlisberger really is still this elite quarterback. It's just that he doesn't really have a whole lot of help around him. To me, it's kind of like Philip Rivers for a while at the Chargers because he kept throwing up these amazing stats, but it wasn't. You need a team to win a championship, and more importantly, even make the playoffs. So, I mean,
he does have Antonio Brown, who looks like he, is emerging as an elite receiver in this league.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, still, I mean, you got the Bengals in there with a great defense, and
but once again, it comes down to Andy Dalton in the end, pretty much. For them.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I mean, at this point, it's all about Andy Dalton at this point for this franchise. They got everything going for him.
Yeah.
Except for the quarterback right now, who can play terrific, but somehow in the playoffs, he just falls apart.
He doesn't win. Yeah. So So, I would. Yeah. So as far as wild card spots goes, then after that, I would have the Bengals, or the Ravens, given barring division wins head to head, this and that. One of the wild card spots.
What's your gut saying right now? Ravens or Bengals?
Well, I don't know. I guess the Bengals.
Okay.
But yeah, and then of course the Ravens taking one of the wild card spots. Although I think the Chargers will be the 5th seed. I think the Chargers might win 11 games this year.
Actually, a lot of people saying they might go backwards because of. They got an easy start to their schedule, but they got some brutal matchups towards the end.
Well, they were better down. They were better down the stretch last year,
but they had an easier schedule down the stretch last year.
Well,
too.
They did, but they had a new system. They had a new offensive scheme going, and I think another year, I think it'll develop better, and Philip Rivers coming off a decent season. I think.
Well, he actually led the league in completion percentages. So he had a better completion percentage than Peyton Manning, who had a great year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is accurate, and it makes it there's talent in his offense, but to me, it's the Chargers is all about the defense at the end. Can this defense get better?
They're gonna have to improve, but so yeah, I would have them as the 5th spot, and then the 6th spot I would give I'd give to the Ravens. Flacco having maybe somewhat of a bounce back year.
He better bounce back because he's getting paid.
Right.
And he's got Steve Smith. So are you saying that? That's the reason why? Because he's got a few more good years in him.
I think that, and I think they were missing Dennis Pitta, tight end. I think the last season.
Did Torrey Smith also go down last year too? I mean,
he might have gone down too. I forget.
I don't think for the season. I think for a couple.
Yeah, in the defense, they had to cut some ties that
they had to cut ties with the veterans.
Ray Lewis retired. Ed Reed. Ed Reed, obviously.
I mean, they still got Terrell Suggs though.
Yeah,
the lone guy.
Yeah, so.
But yeah. It was a lot of young guys last year. Hopefully this year they're a little more matured. Maybe they can step up. But okay, so I'm gonna go Colts to 3rd. 4th, I'll probably go Bengals too. 5th, I'm gonna go Ravens. I think this is a better Ravens team. It's gonna be very competitive. If it's not the Ravens, I think the Steelers can get the 5th seed. Then to me, the North is getting 2 teams. The South is not getting 2. The East is not getting 2. Although I mean, the closest one. If Ryan Tannehill can play well, you can't count the Dolphins. But to me, those quarterbacks are too. Well, so the Jets too, Geno Smith. But to me, I just can't trust Tannehill or Smith at this point here. So to me, both of those teams just don't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And the West, I mean, you got San Diego and then you got Kansas City, and then Oakland, which just is not going to be the conversation at all. But I mean, Kansas City, Alex Smith obviously just signed an extension. Alex Smith did. But they're kind of missing some weapons from last year's team, especially on defensive end. So is the defense going to be as good? Can the offense be as productive? I mean, again, you got Jamal Charles and so on, but can the passing game finally get going with this team, essentially? So I'll go Chargers for 6. I think despite their schedule being maybe a little more difficult down the stretch than last year, this Chargers team I think can be better than last year's team.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I mean, like, once again, they beat the Broncos maybe one time in the regular season.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
just one time. Just gonna be in once.
They put up a decent fight in the playoff game
Yeah.
between last year. So,
So I mean, so it's gonna be Denver, New England, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and then San Diego. Yeah, I'll go San Diego. Who will beat out either Pittsburgh or Kansas City or New York or Miami, really, which is pretty much the same teams as last year. I think it's gonna be the same because what do you have last year for the 6th seed? Like 4, 5 teams had a shot at clinching it the final week.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of did turn out that way. But
well, the first one was the Ravens, I believe, who lost, and then the Dolphins, because the Ravens lost to the Bengals. The Dolphins had a shot then. Then they lost to the Jets, who really had no shot period. So then the Steelers won, I believe, but they still needed the Chargers to win over the Chiefs, who almost won. It wasn't for a missed field goal, but I can't see at the end of the game. So Pittsburgh, somebody almost made the 6th seed last year. But you had like 5 teams that had a shot from last week. And I need to see the same thing happening this year because it's who wants to be the 6th seed, it feels like at this point. It's just, I think the NFC has more depth as far as top goes. I mean, but at the same time, I think the AFC East is just way more competitive as far as
And I there's not a lot of like terrible teams in the NFC either. Like there's gonna be some teams, like the Giants that win like 6 games maybe at most, but I don't see too many teams in the NFC that are gonna be like terrible, 5 or less, less wins. So
I think that's. I don't see an Oakland Raider and I don't see a Jacksonville team out there. Well, even a Buffalo Bill, because
Browns team.
Actually, the Browns. I would put the Browns. I think Buffalo actually. I thought Buffalo in there too because if they beat Miami and New York.
I mean they could split with them.
Well, I mean, but I mean if they just beat Miami and New York, that's 4 wins right there. So they just win some non-conference games. You can put Buffalo in the conversation, I think. I mean, they do have playmakers on that team.
Yeah.
There's always people saying, well, they're just not there yet. But, I mean, to me, it's all down to A.J. Manuel. Can he finally step up as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I think, they'll play the Browns and they'll play the Raiders and, some of those teams.
Yeah, so there is winnable games there. So,
I
mean, they could win 6. They could have 6 wins again, but that's not going to get you in the playoffs.
Yeah. So
okay. So at that point, we would have... You would have the Colts against the Ravens then.
3-6. Yeah. I would have the Colts winning. If I'm not mistaken, was that the game? Was that the same game that they had last year?
No, it was Colts and Chiefs last year.
Colts and
Ravens did make the playoffs last year.
2 years. Yeah, that's right. No, 2 years ago, I remember the Ravens beat. Well, yeah, they. It
was Chuck Pagano.
Rookie year for Andrew Luck.
Rookie year. Ray Lewis's final game at Baltimore.
So, I have the Colts would win that game.
Okay.
And then in the wild card game would be the Chargers at the Bengals, a rematch of last year. I had the Chargers winning that game. Well, I mean they did it last year, and I think the Chargers will only be better, this year. So
So Andy Dalton for 4 straight years. So is Marvin Lewis out as the head coach finally for the Bengals? It sounds like.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because a lot of people thought he was done last year, but he still has. But I guess Cincinnati's okay with just making the playoffs and not going any beyond that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think, and I think, so I could very well see that being the case.
So let's see. I got the Colts and the Chargers. Yeah, what the hell? I'll go San Diego too over Indianapolis. To me, the Colts have the same scenario the Eagles have too. They're just in such a pathetic division right now.
Yeah,
it's kind of just a give me for them right now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of fortunate for Andrew Luck that and like I said, the Colts to me have some missing pieces still that they haven't filled in yet compared to the Chargers. So, not to mention Rivers is a veteran. Luck's only in his 3rd year. Grant, he's been doing pretty well so far, but no, I'll go Chargers upsetting the Colts, which once again means Peyton Manning gets Phil Rivers in division playoff again. Then I'll go with let's see, we've got Cincinnati and Baltimore. I think Flacco beats Dalton because
Yeah.
it's just until Andy
Playoff-
Dalton proves me otherwise here. There's something about this team that just screams
Playoff pedigree. Yeah, I mean,
and like I said, I think Flacco. I think he has weapons this year. And so yeah, I think Baltimore beats Cincinnati.
all right. And then so my divisional round, I guess that would mean the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos for me would have another divisional game against the San Diego Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't. Once again, like last year, I don't see the Chargers getting it done against the Broncos.
See you being competitive at least, or
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I maybe not coming down to a last-second field goal or anything, but yeah, I mean, Chargers could maybe stay with the Broncos, and the Patriots beating the Colts once again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna go Broncos over Chargers. I think it's gonna be close though. It's probably gonna come down to a game-winning drive by Manning probably to win it. I think it's gonna be that
Maybe
close.
they're behind. Yeah.
And then for the Patriots against the Ravens, I'm gonna go with Patriots. I think it's gonna be a close one though again because Flacco obviously.
Yeah.
It feels like in the past kind of has Brady's number to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no. This is a better Patriots team on defense, and I think Brady will destroy the Ravens defense. I think Flacco might struggle against Revis Island. I guess is what I'm summing up. So I'll go Pats and Broncos again. Once again for the chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So now once again it's Manning and Brady.
Yeah, which I have. Yeah.
At Denver,
Which this time I will have. This time I think it'll be Tom Brady's year. I think I kind of hinted at this, but so I'd have the Patriots going on. This time maybe they'll have Gronkowski. They didn't have him. Basically all last year down the stretch. And of course, these two teams are going to play in the regular season as well.
Yeah.
And we did,
Yeah. Well, how did it go for Brady last year? Oh, we won at Foxborough, but then we got.
But then they lost. Yeah.
We just couldn't get the job done. So because it's going to be I'm assuming Mile High.
Yeah.
And not Foxborough, because keep in mind, if it's on Foxborough, I kind of feel like I can see Brady beating Manning there because it just feels like Manning just cannot get the job done at Foxborough.
Yeah.
But if it's at his home turf, it's a different ball game then. So if it's at Mile High, I'm gonna go Peyton Manning and Denver. I think they get the job done once again.
And then.
But once again, if New England can get that 1 seed, I could see Brady pulling it off.
Yeah, I mean it could. I mean they might both be 13-win teams.
Yeah.
And
so that one game against the
that 1 seed. Yeah, I mean.
Well, New England technically had it. They beat Denver. Everybody thought they had the 1 seed, and then they lost. I believe it was the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean they had
one time, and then that was it. They couldn't get it
They
back.
had a clunker game. Yeah.
And they ended up being 1 game behind them, so they just needed a tie. That was it.
To show, yeah.
So regular season games do matter when it comes to tiebreakers. So, but no, I'm gonna go with Manning. I think it's a Mile High. It's Manning.
And
so a rematch. So it's gonna be. I believe it's gonna be the first rematch of the same team in back-to-back years since the Cowboys faced the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And remember that the Cowboys destroyed the Bills in the first game. It wasn't even close to that first matchup.
Yeah.
And the second matchup wasn't even as close as the first one either.
Yeah.
In fact, nobody thought, because it was the same roster pretty much, we thought you were watching the same game. except we look at the year essentially. That's about it. But it's pretty much the same players.
Yeah.
Same owners, same coaches. So I guess the question is, does Seattle have Manning's number again? And is it as big of a beatdown as it was last year?
Yeah. Well, I guess it remains to be seen if that were the case. I don't. There's no way that if that game had there would be that much of a blowout. And you know what? Those Denver, I believe, does play Seattle this year again.
Those
divisions.
Yeah, you're right.
play.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you
kind of got like a
that'll
be an interesting game to see. Maybe it won't be as one-sided. So that'll obviously be an interesting game to watch.
Try to think, where's the Super Bowl this year? What's the location?
I don't even remember. But
I slipped mine too. I forgot where it was at this year.
But
hopefully no place where there's a chance of a blizzard happening.
Yeah. But yeah, and then either way you look at it, the Patriots, moving on to the Super Bowl. I have the Seahawks repeating.
Okay.
Although I don't think it would be a blowout. I at
Uh,
least think it would be competitive.
okay, and I got the rematch of the century pretty much.
Yeah.
I too have Seattle winning, and it might just be because Manning just kept winning the big one consistently here,
Yeah.
and he kind of just
Maybe the Broncos win the regular season matchup.
Yeah.
Against, I don't know which stadium it's
because
at.
once again there's regular season paying Manning, and there's playoff paying Manning.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
They're not the same people somehow.
Sometimes, yeah, and some.
Just like you got Eli Manning regular season, Eli Manning playoff, and they're not the same guys. It's almost like Peyton
Yeah.
and Eli just swapped brains
I mean,
in the
yeah,
playoffs in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton Manning was fine last year in the playoffs until the Seattle game, essentially, until the Super Bowl.
Until he finally played a defense that was just so deep
and yeah.
and so and you know what, and once again I don't think Denver was used to playing against heavy hitters on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess,
As soon as Demaryius Thomas got hit with that drop pass,
yeah,
it was like every time Welker went out and every time those guys went out, they were just like, okay, gotta catch this ball, but oh god,
but they knew, like, I'm gonna get
destroyed right here.
Yeah.
And as soon as it happened, they couldn't get anything going on offense. It was they got psyched out by Seattle.
Yeah.
Everybody thought Manning was going to psych out Seattle, and honestly, that safety to me just showed it right there. I think also the fact that it felt like it was a pro Seattle crowd too. They did. It was quite neutral.
Yeah.
For some reason, somehow, Legion of Boom showed up at New York, and Denver just sat at home and felt like.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's going to be Seattle again, and it would not shock me if it's just as bad as last year because this defense is just so good. Russell Wilson might even be better.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a young quarterback.
Percy Harvin, healthy for a full season. Besides Darrelle Revis, who else in the secondary is going to stop Percy Harvin?
Yeah.
So you got Seattle against New England. I got Seattle, Denver in a rematch. Doesn't really matter. We both have Seattle winning.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a back-to-back. First time since, ironically, New England.
Yeah.
So obviously that's gonna have a lot of reason there.
But I gotta say, it would be cool to see Brady win another. After a 10-year drought, it would be cool to see him.
Just sounds shocking.
It would be cool to see him complete the brass knuckle thing there. But yeah, I mean that It would be cool to see him win another Super Bowl.
To me, it'd be cool to see him have 5. So it's ring on the thumb then.
Yeah, the thumb. Yeah,
the biggest finger.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. That would, so
have to get a special ring.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, I'm gonna give you this massive one because it's your thumb.
Yeah.
So then when you punch somebody, it's like a closed fist then.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, the brass knuckles.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I mean, it should be an interesting season, especially when you got Seattle versus Denver, for example,
yes.
and as usual, you got a Peyton Manning versus Brady game in the regular season at some,
Ironically enough, though,
and probably in the playoffs.
Ironically enough, though, your NFC Championship game happens this Thursday, opening up.
Oh yeah,
it's Green Bay, it's Seattle, it's at Seattle. So,
yeah, I was going to mention that, or I think I forgot, but
so good to see how Aaron Rodgers, the bad man that he is, can handle this Legion of Boom team.
Yeah. And,
can Seattle, because it's kind of mixed with Super Bowl champions playing opening night, how well they do and how well they might not do.
Yeah.
We saw what happened to Baltimore last year against Denver.
Yeah.
They were not ready.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, then of course the Eagles face Jacksonville. Not obviously not the showcase game of Sunday.
The game of the week, yeah.
It's probably the game that's going to get one of the least amount of views, probably. But I wish you said this was a scare. Obviously, week 3 kind of calmed me down a bit, but I'm just saying, Chad Henne's not really played bad in the preseason. Either has Blake Bortles, really.
Yeah.
This to me, this is a better Jacksonville team.
Yeah, they're going
to get more. They're going to head in the right direction.
Yeah.
So it's a trap game. This is the meaning of a trap game.
Yeah, right off the bat.
So I mean, and obviously, like I said, if we can win, it's handily. Maybe my nerves will calm down. Obviously, I'll be looking at the Washington game too, because that's only a mere 2 weeks away after Sunday.
Right
so
around the corner.
So obviously Washington, I'm keeping an eye on too. But of course, San Francisco, Dallas, interesting to see how that goes because somebody's got to win that game.
Yeah.
As bad as the Niners have played there, if they lose to Dallas,
yeah.
to me, that just proves my point that they just got way too many issues going on in that locker room.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Maybe Dallas could steal one at home. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll see.
But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is just bring us the NFL regular season already. Kind of
It's
been
almost here, Tyler. 2 days.
2 days. Yeah,
2 days.
yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, what a way to start. The Packers against the Seattle Seahawks. So yeah, I guess it'll wrap it up for TW Sports Talk today. We'll be back next week to talk about obviously the Eagles in their first game against the Jaguars, and I guess some of these other interesting games that are going on, like the Thursday night game with the Packers and the Seahawks. So
You
thanks.
got the Broncos and the Colts Sunday night, and
That's a good. Yeah,
then you got Monday Night Football, which you got the Lions and the
Yeah.
Giants, but you got the Chargers and the Cardinals then.
Yeah.
So 2 playoff teams right there.
yeah. So
Well, at least for me, I have the Cardinals as the
Yeah.
playoffs.
2 teams that'll be in the playoff mix either way you look at
You'd
it.
expect them to be.
Yeah. So yeah. Thanks for tuning in as always, and stay tuned for next week on TW Sports Talk as always.